Maybe we'll be on Canvas as well.
Yeah, I'll be able to tell tomorrow. Remind me on Wednesday. I have a computer advisory meeting tomorrow online, and supposedly they'll let me know.
The fastbot still is not working.
Really? Okay, so um yeah, see what wait maybe until tonight, and then can you be so kind and reach out to Daniel
Yeah,
Graham
yeah,
and keep him posted on it?
sure.
Yeah, someone else in my other class had the same issue. Could you not create an account or you just couldn't get in?
Yeah, I can't create an account.
Yeah, that was it. And if that's still the issue, it'd be interesting, Daniel, is maybe shoot over a email to Jason and ask him, is that the case that we have a couple of students having trouble creating accounts? You know, that Graham, that's one of the issues that we can do. At least we know the CEO, right? That we can at least see if it's on our end or it's what is the issue there. Okay, welcome, folks. Glad that everybody could join me on this April 14th evening. So what I want to do tonight is two parts. Is one, give us a little bit of a reflection again on ERP enterprise resource planning and also on business analytics of descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive statistics, and then also talk about what else we have due and the projects and giving you feedback for your projects. Okay, so hopefully that will work. What do you think, Issa? Does that make sense? Thumbs up. I'll start sharing my screen and see what we have left. Not a lot. I'm just shocked of how much we do. Okay, so what do we always do? We always go to what's due. Remember that, Adam? We always go to what's due. We always have issues. There's always problems. The cloud, we always love the cloud because we said then we don't have to maintain it. What are the disadvantages of the cloud? Could be what? That since we don't have control over it and we don't maintain it, it could be out of our control. So exactly when we need to be online, exactly when we need to go live with our projects, we have one of our applications being down. But what do I always say in this case, Adam? What is the most important thing is to document that, right? We're going to document, and then what? You have to show me that you've documented it, and you also have to show me what have we done for a solution. So if it's down now, we did it in a bit. I've asked Daniel to contact Jason just to see from Fastbots to see what are the issues. Okay, so what I asked you before class, hopefully to do, was complete the final project part 3. I also asked you to complete the business analytics, and I also asked you to look at what is ERP. ERP, if we remember, Adam, stands for what? Enterprise Resource Planning. So, Adam, what is an example of enterprise?
Just like a business.
It's a business. What business do both of us know well?
The business tech business.
Well, maybe, but what is even closer to our hearts? This is a
The
hint.
college.
Right. The university is what? A university is what? Is basically an enterprise too. We can have an enterprise, can be nonprofit or it can be profit. But even if it's nonprofit, it needs to get revenues to meet all of its expenses, right? And it has to have enough resources for a rainy day, right? So I'm going to open up this in a link. So what I've asked you to do is to, I haven't two places, I mean twice, is I've asked you to look at this article as well, and this really is a review from what we've discussed last time, Adam, and that is, what is ERP? SAP, this is by a company called SAP, which started off as a statistical company, and also SAP is doing a lot of manufacturing. They're based in this company, they're based in Germany, and they really were for manufacturing. That was kind of their gearing for it. But guess what? They do other things, and they've gotten to what we call ERP. So what is ERP? An enterprise, we know it's a large business, and basically they have to plan for what? Not plan for the past, but plan for the future. And they have resources and how we're going to do it. And one of the things that they want to do is think about it, is they want to make more efficient and effective, Adam, what? For instance, finance, right? HR, which stands for what, Adam?
Human resources.
Human resources. Manufacturing, we're not part of manufacturing. The university is not a manufacturing, but they have, what do they have in these ERP? You can buy modules. We don't buy the module for manufacturing because we're not a manufacturer. If we were an auto company, right? We were Tesla, or we were Ford, or anyone else, we would need to have manufacturing. Supply chain, we basically think about sales, procurement, how we're going to do it. And basically the idea here is that we want what we call a single source of truth. What the business school has data, the law school has data, communication school has data, housing has data, the sports teams have data. And basically, do we all have the same data? We want to have access to the same data. So basically, what they want on resource planning, think about it, is their idea is the same as any new technology. We have a lot of data. We want to make sense out of the data. We want to get insights of the data to do what, Adam? To make better decisions. Because guess what? What do we have to make decisions about? The past or the future? Adam.
The
You're on
future.
a roll today.
Future.
The future, right? The past, we all know. The grade that you got, you already know. That's the past, right? People say, can I change, can I do extra credit? Can I do this? No. But the past is the past. But what do I tell people? What should I be telling them? That in the future, what should you do? You should concentrate on what you have the future tasks to do. Concentrate on the project, which is even worth more than, okay, I missed some classes, I didn't do so well on the first exam. Well, that's the past. Let's figure out how to do better in the future. So it's the idea that ERP system and the evolution of it, it really started. What's your major, Adam?
Finance.
Finance. Look where it started. It really basically started in the olden times, basically probably older than your grandparents, right? In finance and accounting. And it's basically, hey, for the whole enterprise, do I need to know what are the finances of the School of Business? Do I need to know the finances of the Department of Finance? But what? I need to know what the finances of the entire university is, right? Do you know, in this case, what brings in the most revenue of all the departments in the university? What do you think?
I don't know.
Yes.
You
What
say
do
it
you think,
again? What
Daniel?
brought in the most what?
Revenues. What do you think brought in the most revenues in the entire university, Daniel?
Probably tuition.
Right. But not really. Where do
Maybe
you think
room and
brings the
board.
most revenues to the university, Daniel?
Room and board.
No, it's profitable, but probably not. What do you think, Daniel?
Sports.
Sports brings in a lot, yeah. Definitely sports. If you ever heard the president, he talked about basically a couple of things that's important for the university. And he mentioned sports. Sports, you can think about it. If we broadcast, right, it's millions, right, that it can bring in. And what else? And he mentioned something else at the president when he did all the interviews.
Healthcare.
Healthcare. Who said healthcare?
Me.
Graham? Yeah, the hospital, right? Think about it, right? They bring in the most. So really, if I were the entire, think about it, Daniel, if I were the entire enterprise, if you were president, you know, probably the business school brings in maybe 5%. It's amazing, but really what you would want to be is you would want to give good care and you want to be efficient there and you want to find out what should we be focusing in on, right, in that medical school. And for a while, just to get background, Daniel, the medical school where it's in the red. Because you can think about it, because what? They have so many expenses. You buy one MRI, you buy one CAT scan, right? You buy all that equipment. They expend you better be rushing through those, giving a lot of people scans, right? Because if they're sitting there idle, this isn't, like a chair and, the old computer sitting in the lab there. They're worth nothing, right? But they're sitting there with those scans. So this is the way in which you can even think about it, Graham, is that way in which we need to know. As I'm just giving you an example of this university, we need to know where all those revenues are coming from and how to do it. So this is kind of the way in which it was going. It was basically starting with finance, then they added material planning, especially they added inventory, they added purchasing, and then what did they add in terms of it? They added more manufacturing. This is SAP, and they became the leader. In Germany, you think about software, right, Graham? You don't think in software that Germany would be the big head, right? But in terms of manufacturing software for enterprise resource planning, they are the leaders. Who would even know? But think about that specific thing. And what does Germany have? Do they do any manufacturing of automobiles, Graham?
Yes.
Which ones?
Mercedes, Audi, BMW.
Yeah. So they're pretty good. And what do they pride themselves in is really doing well in manufacturing, really being precise. So this really is kind of the key here of helping them. And then they got CRM. And you can put in your notes here, CRM stands for Customer Resource Management or Customer Relationship Management. And basically keeping track of customers. For the university, it's whom? It could be students, it could be patients, right? And then they started doing KPI, which is what? Key performance indicators. And then they started doing mobile. Then they started doing alerts and dashboards. But all of this was done. And then cloud computing, the e-commerce, Internet of Things. Look at this. ML stands for machine learning, AI. So here you can kind of get the history of all this. And basically why I like this article is gives you kind of a summary of where it was, why it's important, examples you can see, and examples basically when you buy ERP software, you just don't buy a generic ERP software. You in the beginning may even buy ones for your industry. And it's just not education. Higher ed, community colleges work differently than higher ed. We get it for higher ed. The university gets ERP systems. And you can see how they work. Basically, how they work is they give you an overview. Since it is enterprise resource planning, we want one truth. We're going to put our data into database, share that data basically via your role in the company. You get in a dashboard, you get the insights, right? This insights and all of this is available not only in enterprise resource planning, but what else is it available? It's going to be available in many enterprise software products. For instance, if you're in the cloud, you get a dashboard of the cloud, yes. And in the way, when you even think about this, Isa, you can even think about this way is getting this in Blackboard under grades. I get a different version of the dashboard in grades than you do. You get individually what you've done, right, Isa? but I get what? The entire one. You could even see, remember when I did the adapters for Wiley Plus even? I got who did who did their assignments, how much time they spent on their assignments or whatever. So this is the area in which you have it, and you can think about it is these ERP systems then, think about integrating them, and they get integrated, they're cloud-based most of the time, but they are as platform as a service. You remember that I talked about software as a service? Remember in the cloud, I talked about infrastructure as a service. Platform in this case, if I had to do this case, Graham, what is platform? I know what software is, that's application software. I know what infrastructure is, that I can basically rent computers. What's platform as a service? You got any clue? Because this is also part of cloud. This is a review for the exam.
Yeah, but platform in terms of what? Like, what do you mean?
If I say we're going to go to the cloud and we're going to get a platform as a service. Basically, let me give you a scenario. We want to do trading software, and our trading software runs on Windows. Graham, do you have Windows on your machine?
No, I have a Mac.
No. And a lot of our students do not. So I say, instead of having this and instead of buying new machines, why don't we do this? We'll use platform as a service on one of the vendors, on Google, on Microsoft. So what's platform?
Like the iOS.
Yeah, like the operating system. iOS is an example,
Yeah.
but you can put the word platform, put it in your notes. Platform means operating system. So if you were in a group, you say, hey, it's too expensive to get too many computers. It's too expensive to put another operating system on all of our Macs. Let's go ahead and just do it via the cloud. Let's use the platform as a service. So that's what it means. And then you can see the types of deployment. Deployment is one, it says on-premise. So in this case, if I say on-premise, what does that mean? So Tessa, when I say on-premise, do you have any idea what that means? And let me give you a hint. In Zoom, how can you record? There's two ways you can record in Zoom. What are the two ways, Tessa?
Like screen recording?
I can record my screen, but you remember when I start my Zoom, I say I'm going to record where? I always say I'm going to record where, Tessa?
To YouTube or the cloud?
To the cloud, right? And what is my other option in Zoom? It's to my computer. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I have those two options. So given that two options, on the cloud or to my computer, what's most like on premise? Is it to my computer or to the cloud, on premise? On premise means on my site.
The computer?
To the computer. Say it with confidence now. So on premise, the second time, the on premise, put in your notes there, on premise means on site. Now, for an organization, doesn't mean that it's on everybody's computer, but it means that they have computer hardware that they're basically hosting that or storing that. I'll give you an example. You know Blackboard, right? When Blackboard first came out, Blackboard gave the university an option. You can be on premise or you can be on the cloud. That meant that they gave Blackboard a copy of Blackboard, and the university had their own IT staff install it and host it. And guess what? It became a pain, Tessa. And what else? It became we had to have a staff just knowing how to keep up with that. So what did Blackboard do, and what are most companies doing? Where does it seem, Tessa, the industry is going? On premise or to the cloud? Tessa?
To the cloud.
To the cloud. Why? Because your own group don't have to support it. You don't have to worry about the new upgrades. You don't have to buy hardware just to host it. So you can see that ERPs are also doing it. So when I'm going over ERPs, this is like the trends in computing. So here, this basically two-tier and hybrid means they're doing both. And it depends on the industry. In the beginning, for instance, banking, since they have to qualify, they were reluctant to do the cloud. They said, I don't know. Sometimes they were reluctant to do the cloud, defense departments or security. But now, since you have so much data, basically people are still going to the cloud and saying, I want it even more secure. And this, if I look at the 6 benefits of ERP, Emerson, you see these 6 benefits: higher productivity, deeper insights, accelerated reporting, lower risk, simpler IT, improved agility. Those are really benefits not only of ERP, but new technologies. Wouldn't you say that, Emerson? If I asked you why use AI, could you say higher productivity? Of course. Even if you were using it, if you had an AI agent, you would say it. Deeper insights to give me more information that I can get better forecasts. Accelerated reporting. I have to do it quickly. Basically simpler. In this case, use integrated ERP that share a database to simplify and give everyone easier ways to work and improved agility. Don't I want to be more efficient? Think about these last couple of weeks. Have you heard the news, Emerson? What's your major, Emerson?
Accounting.
Accounting. Well, do you think accountants are looking at people's basically looking in the background here is how's the stock market done? It's been going crazy. Have you paid attention with all those tariffs and things? Up one day, the whole world is going cuckoo with not knowing how to respond. What do they have to be? They have to be agile. So the whole idea of all of these, it could be with any technology. So basically, you can see, how do you know if you're ready for an ERP system? Because it's more complicated. If it were me and you, Emerson, in a business, we probably wouldn't do an ERP system. But for large organizations, it is. And what do you look for? You can think about it, the same kind of thing, a common database. Do you see that? Embedded analytics, data visualizations. So if you looked at any or all of these things to look for, it could be in any new technology I want. Okay? And then this is kind of trends to watch. Guess what, Anna? I'm so excited. If I asked you anything in this class, I said, what trends are going to be in the future? What would you say? The first thing would be what? Generative AI, right? And what would be another thing? Natural language commands. So in any software, Anna, this is going to be incorporated. Whether I'm going to be in dealing with contact management, whether I'm going to be dealing in marketing, doesn't matter, all of this. And that's why we've focused about it, because we don't even just want to focus in today, we want to do the future. And then notice cloud, personalization. And these are just that. Why I like this part. This is great. So what I need, if I looked at it, is I can go back. What I wanted, let me just go through this, is what you were asked to look at for today is information systems and the organization of it. But notice this was the ERP part that we talked about, enterprise resource. But what occurs here is on business analytics. What is key is number 3, 4, and 5. What is descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics? And that is the key to making any decisions, because what do we want decisions to be? And this is the case, Anna, is the decision for the past or for the future, a decision?
What
Anna,
is it going to be for the future?
of course, right? How people succeed is not by the past. How people succeed is how well they do what, how well they can envision the future and then act upon it, right? That's gonna be the winners. So you can think about your data, part of it being structured, very structured, like accounting, accounts receivable. What do I want to do? I want to control it by basic budget analysis. In semi-structured, it's basically scheduling, inventory control. And unstructured, that's where it's getting hard. Unstructured could also be video. Unstructured could be in the way in which I have a lot of video. I have to make sense out of that. Now what's big in AI is computer vision, right? That it can see my screen, tell me what my screen's about. I can see videos, tell me what the video's about, not only just for blind people, but for other people as well. So this right here, let me make this that you can see it clearly. This right here is important. So what I have important here, Navar, can you see this, Navar? That I have a business problem, and I can have any business problem. Let's say in the university, what's the business problem they have is who should we recruit? We're a little bit concerned over the stock market, right? Parents may be a little conscious of looking at their 401ks and saying, I don't know if I have as much money as before. So this is our problem of who should we recruit? And then I have my data management of that data being external data from my other universities, maybe getting some data internally. Who are my good students now? Who have really succeeded now? I may have some big data. And then they have something like this of ETL means I have to extract and I have to transform and I have to clean my data, make sure that it's correct data, and then I put it into a data warehouse. So if you remember, Navar, even from last time, a data warehouse, is it real time or historical? Navar.
I think it's real time.
A warehouse. If I'm going to store data in a
Oh
warehouse.
no, it's not real time.
Of course, right? My inventory is real time, right? It's not going to be important. If we're a car dealership, right? I want to have real time inventory, what's available. But of course, a data warehouse where I'm going to be doing some hypothetical studies on, it's going to be historical. So if I wanted to find out about my students, who were the ones that really loved the U and who are the ones that succeeded, right? I'm going to put that in a data warehouse. And this is what's key for everybody. You see this, Ethan? This is key for this chapter. This slide, if you don't know anything else, this slide is key. It's rather descriptive statistics, which means what has happened. And it's important a lot of times. Who have been our students, right? So this descriptive statistics, Ethan, is it the past or the future? When I ask what has happened?
The past.
Past. If I asked you what has happened, what have your grades been, Ethan? We know, and let's get a descriptive statistics. And that's basically what Daniel does, right? You do the curve, right, Daniel? It's what? It's past. It's what they have done, right? That is descriptive statistics. And based on that, basically, I may be able to do some data mining on it. And how does it do? It's presented as a dashboard or as a graph or report. So basically, if I take your grades then, Ethan, you can go to Blackboard and you can see basically a dashboard just of your data for what has happened. Predictive statistic. Ethan, you're on a roll. Predictive means what? In the past or the future?
That's the future.
That's the future. And what do we do all the time? Why do I pay those business analysts, and why do they make a lot of money in finance? What's your major, Ethan?
Finance.
Finance. A lot of times when I ask my students, why are you going to finance? I want to make a lot of money. And they have no idea what finance is, but they throw out, I want to make a lot of money. Well, why would they make a lot of money? Is do we know what the future is going to be, Ethan?
We don't, but we take information and
Right.
data.
Basically, we want to make educated guesses, right? We don't know, right? Sometimes we want to basically who succeeds and who doesn't. It's basically sometimes it's somebody that guesses better, right? Somebody that maybe has done their day. Sometimes it happens just by chance, right? But usually the whole idea of studying this is we're going to give you more tools to have a higher probability of succeeding. And then you decide how much risk you want, right? So that is predictive. And you see in predictive, we can do regressions, we can do statistical, but it's all on the future. And we can do data mining, trying to find some insights of it. And I also can present this. Think about your grades then, right? Given what you've done in the past, I can't be 100% knowing how you'll do in the class, right? Nobody would soon say, well, I get an A. I have no idea if you'll get an A. I have an idea based on your past performance, right? But if all of a sudden you're partying every day, right? And not going to study, maybe I'm not going to turn in, or as I have now, some groups where they're complaining, we're doing all the work, and some of the students, they've gone numb on me. They've gone, they're ghosting me. So those students won't get this as good of a grade. But in basically predictive, and then let's say some students haven't done as well, what basically they say, well, how can I get an A? And I say, well, you can't get anything. You have to earn it. But based on that is maybe you should spend more time thinking about the project, which is worth 25%, rather than worrying about that you miss one class, right? That future of 25%, if you can make you, if you don't do anything on that part, will not earn you an A. I'm just making an example people can relate to. But in terms of business, this is what it is what should we do? So what could happen is that those tariffs can make it very expensive if we're doing a lot of importing, right, from China. So it may be, well, what should we do? Give me a prescriptive. Well, maybe, and then it's a type. It's maybe we should get some of our sources, if we can, from other places in the world, But I'm just saying that's the prescriptive of what we should do. And I'm getting that in a presentation type. I'm getting it through a dashboard of figure. And I'm going to make some actionable or business applications. So we know what's involved here is what is coming into this is neural networks, is machine learning and deep learning to give me those insights to basically not tell me so much about what's happened in the past, but this is key. What could happen, but what should we do? This is the real hard part. Everybody knows that we don't know what's going to happen, especially lately. One day it's up, one day it's down. Some people are shorting, some people are staying too long in the trade. It's hard, but if we basically are more agile and can figure this out, those are people that succeed. And that's what this chapter is about. You got it, Ethan? So that is basically thinking about it, getting together, but they're the same ideas that we've been talking about. You see the theme here, data, data, data. How do we get some sense out of the data, what's been in the past, to tell me, hey, where are we today? Just like you, where am I in this class? What is my current grade in this class? And then I can figure out, predict what could happen, right? And you all can figure this out. And if I do the best, if I do a really great job on the project, chances are, and I know already chapters 4 and 5 already, and I've studied a certain way, chances are I now know what I should do if my goal is to earn an A, let's say. I'm just making a simple example, but think about how much more complicated it is for businesses. That it's just not dependent on yourself. Just like we said before, right, Daniel? That fast spot, we want to put it in and all of a sudden it crashes that fast spot, right? We don't have, and it just so happens that we didn't do it we didn't do it last week when it was working, and all of a sudden we're trying to do it now. Question.
I just checked it again. I think it's working. If Graham, you want to stay after class and we can troubleshoot as well.
Great. You understand? It's on and off. So he can try it on its own, and then it comes on and off, you know. Sometimes what the problem is too is if you have it in cache already, and sometimes you have to go in incognito, sometimes you have to, you know, refresh, you know. Sometimes it's having those issues. There's so many different issues that it could be. Okay, everybody have their camera and we're going. Okay, so that was on that part. On let me just show you one more thing before let me show one more. This is two interesting things here. So I'm going to basically, and then they just talked about predictive, right? So if I think about predictive, I'm predictive, basically anything in the future of data mining, right? And they're basically drilling down a dashboard. You all know that. Okay. So the other thing I'd like you to look at is on web links. Just in passing, this was what is ERP. This is interesting. Need to work with AI to be hired. Isa, did I talk about this at all? Isa.
I don't think.
What?
Are you asking me if you've been through this article already?
Yes. Have I with you?
I don't think so.
Okay. Look what the title is, Isa. Shopify. Have you heard of Shopify? It's basically an e-commerce site, right? Says no new hires unless AI can't do the job. Employees now required to integrate artificial intelligence into teamwork. And I just love this one. Shopify won't make new hires unless managers can prove artificial intelligence isn't capable of doing the job. And teams need to integrate AI into their workflows, and doing so will be expected of all employees going forward according to the memo. What do you think, Isa? What's your opinion on it?
Sorry, there was a bug flying through my camera and I just caught it. I'm so sorry. But yes, I think AI just makes everything easier for us, and we should use.
But this is what is amazing that he says it. I think a lot of CEOs are thinking about this, but especially the ones in tech. But he won't even. He's expecting all of his employees to do this, not just, you know, people in tech. And what's interesting for me is to see is this one as well. This is the CEO from Salesforce. Salesforce is one of the larger companies that have done customer relation management. They're really good in contact, basically those contact centers, you know, the call centers. And basically, I like when he says that, say hello to your new colleague, the AI agent, And he says today's CEO are the final generations of executives who will lead exclusively human workforces. And I think our management classes, and I think the way we teach business is amazing, that our leadership integrating, look at this, integrating AI agents into daily operations will become a leadership skill. How you integrate the AI agents into the daily will become a leadership skill that separates companies that thrive from those that fall behind. Amazing. Can you see that? He says, so it's basically, and that's interesting too, Daniel. It's not that you can work with it. You almost have to lead and manage both the AI and people. And it's special because some people may be really good in managing people, and some people may be good in managing AI agents, right? But combining the two, and if you're in your team, Daniel, you got to figure out which AI technology they should be using in their team. And what this guy is saying from Shopify is, if you want to hire somebody new to your team, prove to me that an AI can't do that job. That's when I'll hire another person. And if I hire another person, they have to know how to work with AI. So it's kind of like that combination. And then the AI will take over the world, and we will, I don't know. We got to figure that out too. Because really, what do they need me for, right? We can do the AI. AI can do a better job, right? AI can grade, right? What do I need Daniel for? AI can do the grading. AI can lecture. AI can tell better jokes than me. I mean, it's a whole thing for the AI will take over. So Daniel, so let's look at which group should we look at today, just to show.
Group 4.
Group 4. So who's in group 4? Daniel.
Let me look. That is Alexa, Noah, Caitlin, and Nirvar.
Okay, so Alexa, Alexa, I saw you, right? Alexa, where are you? Yeah. Alexa, you want to share your group, and we'll give you some feedback. You get to be lucky. Think about it, the flip side. You get to be lucky to give feedback. And what I want everyone else to see, when I give feedback to her group, it's to everyone else as well. So Alexa, you mind sharing?
Okay.
So go basically to the audit area.
Oh, okay, let me just.
Or do you want to do it, Daniel? You want to share the
I
audit
have a
area?
bunch of things on my screen.
Okay.
I was just gonna do like I was just gonna go to like the website link.
Okay, fine. Go to the website. You know it better than me and Daniel. We didn't even get a chance to look at your final.
Daniel did look at it.
Right.
But let me.
Okay. So what was the name of your website?
Cognivance.
Okay. So basically you have the URL of cognivance.net, and Cognizance for universities, and empowering education with AI. And then I like it that you say here, image generated. You say who it is. Okay. And on the corner there, it's cognitives. What is that? Empowering. Is that the same thing? Empowering education. It's kind of small. Okay. Call our VAPI AI agent. So basically what you should be able to do is everyone in your group. So basically, if you called it, right? So if I called it, if I went to my phone and I called 3 Read me the number 336
663
663. What?
6978.
9769, right?
Yeah.
663-97-969, right? 6978.
Hey, this is Alex from Cognivance, where we help universities transform tutoring using AI. Do you have a minute to talk about how we can support your academic goals?
Yes. Can you tell me of who's in your group of Cognivance?
Absolutely. I think there might be a little confusion. I'm from Cognivance, not Cognizant. Cognivance
Well,
focuses on AI-powered tutoring.
wonderful. And what do you guys do?
We provide AI-powered tutoring solutions for universities. Our platform helps automate tutor matching, tracks engagement, and improve student outcomes. Essentially, we aim to enhance academic support through smarter technology.
Great.
I'd like to know more about.
I don't, but I'll call you back. You sound really great. Okay, perfect. So we know that. Listen to our podcast, which is nice. So you have it right there. Perfect. Go back, go down, learn more, contact us, and here again, call, right? Call VIP agent, which is nice. Connect with us. And if I connect with you, learn more, what is that?
It takes you to the contact page so that
Okay, so a contact page. All right. And what's that? Let's Chat. Let's Chat is Wix. It's not Vappy. Or it is Vappy. On the bottom there, Alexa.
this.
No, on the bottom where it says Let's Chat. Is that Fastbot?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's try something in Fastbot. Click on the Let's Chat. Okay, and then ask a question. So so you need to test it out with your message. Tell me about your services. So right, tell me about your services.
I don't know if that is Fastbot.
What? Is that Fastbot?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's
okay.
the email.
Okay,
Well,
hey,
yeah, it's still the email. I don't okay, so I wasn't the one that did the fast spot.
okay, so I don't see the
It's
fast.
okay, you have time.
Yeah,
Oh, I was the one doing the Fastbot, but I was having problems setting it up. Like
Okay,
the
so
website
maybe
was going down.
okay, so that's what we need. So we need to add Fastbot. We were having problems with it. Okay, what else do you want to show me? So yeah, that Let's Chat. I think that's just from Wix, from the Wix thing. Mission statement. Okay. Discover more the team, and let's see meet our incredible team.
so I finished mine, but my group is still and
Okay, so you need to get and everybody. Okay.
I did mine yesterday, but
Okay.
Oh, did you save it and publish it?
oh, maybe not.
Okay, so you have to do it, and Robert Rhodes, who is that?
It's Noah, he hasn't added his yet.
Right, right. So that's not okay. So that needs to be in Navarre. Okay, and connect with us. Okay, and videos. Let's see the videos.
So I don't think anyone else has done it but me. We're still
Okay, so one of the things you want to see here, demo chat GPT spreadsheet content. What's nice is that you incorporated the videos. Okay. And then you're going to do it using chat to analyze tutoring training. Okay. So you need to have those done. And what is Book Online? Click Book Online.
the service.
AI up. Okay. And let's go back one on Book Online. Okay. Book Online. And here what I would change, view course. You see the view course on AI workflow optim. Is that what you're going to teach?
Yeah.
Why are we teaching that?
Who was the one that did the book online? Because I wasn't the one that did the
Okay, so let me give you feedback, okay? First of all, on our services, it's good maybe started April 9th. First of all, I'd start it in the future because then I would do it. Viewing the course, AI workflow optimization, that wouldn't be for tutoring, right? It'd be I don't know what it needs to be. AI strategy consultation. Okay, I wouldn't put 2 hours. If I'm doing a consultation, 30 minutes or an hour. Everybody see that book now? Click on book now. Okay, the schedule, you'll have to try to do, and what I would do is discuss a little bit what we're gonna do. I do it a 30-minute kind of thing, not, see, notice how it's available at 10, 10:30, it fits. So change that to 30 minutes, everybody see that. Also, see what happens when somebody fills it out. So have somebody else in your group fill it out and see what is the back end. When you're going to be doing it, you also want to show what happens in the back end of what's happening, and then go to next. Let's see here. And then you have a booking form, right? And add your mentions here of that, okay? And what else? And frequently asked videos we did already, frequently asked sessions here. How does it use AI in tutoring? Who can use the services? How do students interact? Maybe show some demonstrations on that, on the help center. What else?
And that's it. And the contact info.
Okay, so it's a very good start. You know just as well as I know what needs to be done. That you need to basically have your FastSpot working. You also want to ask questions. You want to ask on the FastSpot, for instance, who's on your team. Basically make sure that it's crawled appropriately where we're doing here. And show examples, get more empowering education. But here, cognitive for universities, who in the universities? Is this for the tutoring center? Is this for students? Is this, what am I going to be teaching? Am I going to teaching you tools? Am I going to be tutoring in finance and accounting?
It's a lot. It's like math, science.
But here, when I say cognitive for university, is it for university students?
Yes.
Then I would put for university students. You
Okay.
understand? Empowering education with AI, but basically it's really, I would change this. Everybody understand that? When I'm thinking about this for universities, I would think, oh, the university is going to buy this. Is this for the tutoring center? Which it may be a good idea. You know, we'll provide the university, but are you going to be teaching them the tools of AI and they'll be doing it themselves? Or you're going to actually have webinar when they're going to contact you? What are they contacting you about?
Okay.
And what is this little picture? What is this road supposed to be? The picture on the very top there. What does that have to do with anything?
It was just a, I don't
I
know.
know, I'd make a better pic. Don't you think so? That doesn't tell me about tutoring,
Yeah.
right? So once you get the little caricature with the woman, right, with a book that has something. Some of these other pictures, it doesn't show me any relevance at all. So I would change some of those pictures, but I would hone in, and this is what everybody's honing in, and instead of empowering education with education, but it's basically helping people what? Helping people learn by using it for tutoring, or what is this? Asking that question. Great start. But there's where I'm gonna, and that's what's gonna be the one for myself, is those that really get the A courses. When you go back now and read it, does this make really sense? You almost have to read each line, because some of this is, AI-ish, you know what I mean? What am I doing? What problem am I trying to solve? And how am I going to solve that problem? By providing you each week with tools. What am I going to give you? With the services. Show me your services again, or book online. What am I booking online? Is it AI strategy? What do you think? Alexa, what services will you provide? Will you provide like, are you going to provide then doing finance and preparing people for a finance exam? Or is it that you're going to be teaching them notebook, teaching them other
I think it just
products?
depends on what they want. So it's a
What?
consultation. I think it just depends on what our clients want. So I guess like as a consultation, if they ask for a certain
I would reverse it. I would be able to tell you, you should tell them what services you provide, and then leave it out. If you want another service, we'll let us know in the contact page. But your services is who's my audience here? Is it students? Is it university directors
it
for the
would be
tutoring
more like
service?
universities for like the tutoring services and centers.
Okay, so then that has to be clear. Do you understand, Heidi? It's a completely different. I want to, in the beginning, I want to narrow it. Who's going to use my server? Is it going to be students? Is it going to be all those university? So if those are the cases, is it the head of tutoring going to be my client? Who's going to be my client? I don't care, Heidi, but it's your business. You understand? I'm part of your team here, but it's your business to decide who are you focusing in on. And then your services can tell you that right now. And then you say AI tutoring integration to what? And then here, I don't like that either. That picture that looks like elementary school, doesn't it? The one on AI tutoring integration.
Yeah.
With that boy and the young woman. I don't look at your pictures and make sure that the pictures match what you have. So who's in your group? Who's here today? Besides Alexa, Heidi, and who else?
I'm here as well.
No, it's
Okay. And Ethan?
Alexa, Heidi. It's not Heidi.
It's
There's
me,
Okay.
Caitlin.
Caitlin, okay.
and Noah.
And Noah, okay. You want to stop sharing? Does that make sense? Noah, does that make sense? What did you learn from that?
Well, I learned that we need to change a lot of the things. We need to change the book online page and make it more clear what we're offering. Gotta add videos, finish the
Well, you
fast
got the framework, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But what's not clear is who is this for?
hmm
What problem are you trying to solve? Is it a problem that there's too much of a line in the tutoring office, people can't get tutoring? Is it a thing that you want them, while they're getting a manual tutor, that you also want to help them what? Teach their who are you going to be teaching to?
Okay, yeah.
You
So we
got
just
to be
have to be more
teaching
clear.
the tutors? Are you going to be teaching the students? Is it tutors that can use AI with them? That you understand what's
Yeah.
not clear here? And then I wanted for everybody to rethink it. You see that, Emerson? Go back to your website and say, is it clear? What problem am I going to solve? Take yourself, because we're so interested in putting stuff out there. And then do the pictures solve anything here? That's kind of like the afterthought. But what's not clear here, do you see that what I'm talking about, Daniel? That it's not clear who this, and I'm giving each of you that you can then, each of you, Noah, you could look at another group and give them that same feedback, Noah, that I'm giving you. When you look at it, that may be interesting too, Daniel, in the future, to have one group evaluate each other's groups and give them feedback, because they're not so close to it. That's I'm just throwing that out. That may be a way that you have a group and then you have a party, though. We have enough problems just dealing with our own group, writing and coordinating it. But that may be a way of grading is doing that peer group of other groups. Okay. Anything else? Did that make sense, Alexa? What was your takeaway?
I mean, just that we have to be more specific with what we're offering.
And once you're specific, once you know, it's almost like, Alexa, it's like you're almost not clear on what you're offering. So if you're not clear, how can I even buy your service? How can I even, I'm not even talking about buy, how can I use your services? So you need to get think in your mind, what do we, and I want you to give a service that you're capable of giving. Rather than AI optimization, what was the other one? AI, strategy. What you have a lot that you could offer. So start with that. And then in the future, we'll be giving other tools that we'll be doing, giving you as they come along, as they keep on improving. And then think about, what service am I, universities, and is it universities or the university students, or it just the business students? Am I going to focus on that? All the universities? It's going to be for medical schools too. Very, we have so many, maybe you want to focus more on, narrow down. Okay. So Anna, did that help? Getting kind of like feedback from them to see what we needed to do?
I thought that helped a lot.
You know what I mean? That you take a step back and show, because this is, besides being 25% of your grade, this is something that, Alexa, you can take when somebody said, when a guy from Spotify says, can you work with AI? That's going to be, he's like the first, but guess what? When by the time you graduate, it's going to be a lot more. Right? And then you say, hey, this is my URL. Try out my try out my chatbot, try out my intelligent voice. That's amazing when you really think about it. Did you know how to do that before? And most people didn't, right? You got it all there. But now just crunch it in and make it well defined. And then you got to get the group going. We got a person here, we don't even have their face, Okay. Daniel, be so kind and share with me attendance. Stay with me afterwards if you have individual issues. I think it was worthwhile. Wednesday, I will do a review. Also, I'll review other projects. See what's happening with FastBot, and hopefully it'll work again. And Daniel, everybody has your address, right? And what is it? 6183, Daniel?
Yes, 6183.
Perfect. And stay with me if you have if you have any questions. Daniel will stay a minute or so too with me. Thank you for coming. Thank you, group. Thank you for my moderators. Graham, thank you for your comments.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes, Isa.
Hey, I remember you
Let me
saying something
stop
about.
recording, okay?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Remember how we forget so much